Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Let's Play Pillars of Eternity series. We are in the Sanitarium in Defiance Bay, and in the previous episode we found out interesting information about Eloth and his other soul that occupies his body. And we also talked to Mortarion about Helig's grimoire. Helig is the necromancer in the catacombs in Copper Lane. So yeah, and we have two ways to finish that quest. Either keep helping Helig or just kill Helig and finish up what Mortarion started. Well, first we need to find this Leaden Key person. So we're going to look around a bit. There's a door open here. Look at that. There's some stuff around here too. Oh, there's the person, Ripley.
Well met, friend.
A young older woman traces her fingers along the spines of books in front of her, row by row, her motions quick and skittish like a bird's. She does not notice you until you are nearly upon her. Oh my, you startled me. Are you supposed to be in here? I'm investigating any suspicious activity in the Sanitarium. Oh, I'm just Master Azur's assistant. He'd know more about that, but he's in the middle of busy with some patients. You won't be able to see him until he comes out from the patient ward. If there's nothing else, I need to get back to work. Is Azur busy with patients, or is he running some sort of experiment? I'm just an assistant. It's not my place to gossip. I'm sorry. Okay, so how do I get into the patient ward? Only Master Azur has access. I guess Head Warden Ethelmel does too, but he's, a statue now. Okay. I'm looking for an expert on awakenings. Me? I'm just Master's assistant. But there's a visiting scholar from Rever here named Belisage. She claims to know about them. Okay, no one else. Alright, apparently we will need to go up and talk to the warden. See what's in here. Nothing. Okay, and we won't be able to go that way. Fine. I'll come back for this. I'm not sure. If there's a grimoire, I'd love to have it.
Good day to you.
Have you learned anything of interest? Maybe. Is Cadman Azur running experiments on the patients here? Experiments? Cadman Azur is in charge of patients' welfare now. He's not authorized to run any more experiments. I am disappointed in Cadman. I had hoped he would be the one to guide your inquiry. He'll be in his office or in the patient's ward. I'm granting you immediate access so you can find him. No doubt you will wish to speak to him further on this matter. And I, for one, am curious as to what he might have to say. Tread carefully in the wards. There are a few dangerous cases. I would ask also that you do your best not to agitate the patients. They have enough troubles as it is. Right, thank you. Now that we have access, let's get down there. Look at them patients. Nice, the head warden says you can go and be careful in there. I'll try to be careful. But first, We have a level up or two. Right. Now that all the level up's done, let's go this way. Flesh construct. Frail. God. Oh, so these... Frail. A curved spine twists this woman's posture forward, her greasy head draped over her large eyes like veins. She smiles at you. You must be visiting someone. Then, noting your appearance, she adds, a friendly visit, I hope. What do you know about this Animancer Ezo? Oh, I like him very much. Many Animancers could care less about their patients, look at us like vermin for their experiments, but Master Ezo treats us like humans, even the very sick. You can tell he does this to help people. He's helped me understand a great deal about myself, and I know he's done the same for others. It's too bad what they did to him. He hides it well, but I know he's still affected by it. What happened? Freya's eyes dart back and forth, and her voice lowers to just above a whisper. They don't like to talk about it, but there was an accident. He was said to be one of the brightest in Durwood. That was his reputation here, and that was what brought me to seek treatment. People say it was ego that drove him to try and solve the legacy. But that's hogwash, even if he was a bit of a showman. He loves his homeland. He thought he could help. He wasn't one to speak of his work, suspected his colleagues might have tried to steal it, but he told me once that he had figured out a way to create a soul. Not a soul exactly, mind you. How did he put it? Proxy, I think he called it. Had some machine that drew energy out of the very ether. Can you imagine? The point is, it was going to help with the legacy. It was going to make Hollowborn into something easier to love and care for. Gods know that's something we need. Do you know what they call those empty little babies in Andra's gift? No, tell me. They call them boys because so many of them are found floating face down in the water. These are mad times. Anyway, Master Ezo had scheduled a public demonstration of his work in Copper Lane. He was so excited. And then the next day he was locked in his office, turning away visitors, I heard. And he stopped seeing patients. I don't know exactly what happened, and I don't have the heart to ask him, but I'm glad they are letting him treat people again. Have any of the patients here been acting unusually? Well, there's Batixa, who relives a murder she committed more than 5 lifetimes ago. Idamon, who they say only has half a soul and who was found collecting the faces of others because he believed his own to be a false one. Graham, he speaks in a language no one understands and wails at night sometimes. Different from their normal behavior, I mean. Well, yes, I suppose, but nothing they didn't volunteer for. Master Ezo let us know that a number of patients in the North Ward had volunteered for a new therapy and would be escorted to his laboratory to receive treatment. The North Ward has our most troubled cases. I'm glad some of them have chosen to get help. It seems to me it's gotten quieter over there since it started. It's Graham I see them taking in the most. He struggles, but he always was a bit of a wild one. Would I be able to visit the North Ward? They like to keep them separate. I don't know that I've ever seen the guards allow a visitor, just Master Ezo. You might ask him. He's very, very sympathetic. Okay. Do you know where I might find Ezo? I think I've seen him around today. Have you checked the laboratory? It shares a wall with his office. He's been spending most of his time there lately. Okay. We need to... North Ward. What's in there? Rice. Cooking ingredient. I'll take it. Let's find Master Azo. Don't know how he's pronounced his nickname, so we'll call him Azo for now. Okay. This way. Down this way. Yeah, it seems so. So there's the laboratory somewhere here, right? Yeah, it should be here. This one. I think we found him, guys. A round-faced, balding man turns to face you. His upper lip is pulled upward slightly by his potent nose, exposing his upper teeth when he scowls.
What is the meaning of this?
Well, Ethelmer told me you're not supposed to be doing any more experiments. Yes, well, Ethelmer hasn't done much good for anybody since he had his soul moved to an inanimate object, as I fail to see why I should let that sway me. If animances all followed the commands of their leaders, where would we be? We'd all be as backward and willfully ignorant as Redceras. We would know nothing about life or death or even ourselves. We would be lost in the dark with no clues as to why. I never thought I'd find myself in agreement with the statue, but Ethelmer's right about his fellow at least. How easily ambition masquerades as prudence. I'll bet he's fooled even himself. You toy with things beyond our comprehension. It's dangerous and foolish.
Are you from Redceras? Are you Widewen himself, risen to smite me for my heretical belief in learning who I am and why I exist? Please. You are afraid because men have taught you to be afraid. Because they were taught to be afraid. These things are only beyond our comprehension because of the fears of people like you. Who will solve Widewen's legacy? Some church? Some warrior? It will be an animancer, or it will be no one at all.
Well, he's right, isn't he? Have you tried your experiments on any other subjects? I have, yes. No point in lying about it now that Ethelmer's involved. I asked for volunteers from our patients and a few brave souls came forward. I was very close at one time to a breakthrough. They understood that. They understood their sacrifices would mean something. Okay. I heard you were demoted. How did that happen? Has a snorted flare and he bares his upper teeth more broadly. That's none of your concern. Did one of the others put you up to this? Oldmare? That smug weasel? Things went wrong. Everything. I don't know how. I'll never know. He spits on the floor as if to remove a bitter taste from his mouth. Well, okay. I'd like access to the North Ward. Out of the question. Those patients are in isolation for a reason. So you can coerce them into your experiments? Freyl told me everything.
She's a patient! That blazing woman knows nothing of the nature of my experiments.
Oh. He balls up his fist and digs his teeth into his index finger, a growl simmering beneath his breath, and a deep scowl compressing his face.
Fine. Speak to them for all the good it'll do you. I'm sure the discussions will be fascinating.
He pulls a heavy key from one of his pockets and nearly slams it down on the floor before handing it to you. Okay, guess we angered the guy a bit. Okay, so we can now go into the North Ward, which I guess is up there, isn't it? This should be the door to open it. Let's see. Is this my face? Tell me. Who's in here? Someone's in here. Thundering sky, rain of blood, innocents must drown. No one there. Oh, someone's in there. This man has the look in his eyes of a hunted animal, and at your approach, he staggers backward to the far corner of his cell, halfway appearing as though he would climb the walls if it would get him further away from you. He cries out, a bizarre, primal utterance like nothing you've heard. I need to ask you some questions. Graham looks at you blankly. It is unclear whether he understands you or not, but his panic has momentarily subsided. He opens his mouth to speak, but the words that come out are half-formed, as though his tongue were cut out. They are impossible for you to discern if indeed they are words at all. Eloth makes a noise of disgust. Those Animancer did this to him. You can see what comes of their meddling. Freyl said you were being treated by Cadman Azo. He looks at you with uncertainty. Slowly, tentatively, he steps closer to the front of his cell, and as he does so, for the first time, you can perceive his soul within your ken. It is misshapen as though maimed by some jagged instrument, and large expanses of it have been gauged out entirely. You feel no barrier of resistance. If you wanted to, you could look further into Graham's soul. Let's look in. You project out towards the maimed soul in front of you, merging with it, its confusion and fear becoming yours as it whisks you into its depths. You are in your cell. A key turns. The door creaks open on neglected hinges. Thoughts come to you in waves, incomplete, broken, fearful. Standing at the door is a rotund, balding man. His upper teeth and pointy nose remind you of a rat. He beckons, apologetic. You don't want to go. Anything else? In your mind is a single word and the word is no. But it dissolves before it reaches your lips. You press against the back wall, cornered. You cry out. In darkness you fight against unseen restraints. You cannot move your arms or legs. The man walks into the room carrying a lit candle, its meager flame casting long shadows across books and machinery. Straps bind your arms and legs. Cold metal circumscribes the crown of your head and the breadth of your chest. The man is sorry. He is in need of raw materials. They dismantled his work and he needs another source. He needs to show them he was right. He thanks you. Then he turns a knob and you feel yourself being to crack from within, and you can feel pieces of you torn away, like having your insides chewed by a horde of rats, and you are screaming, a scream you can barely hear. Wow. Dead guy. Okay. Continue searching. Another night, heavy footsteps outside your door, coming for you. You look through a slit in your door. The flesh giant, the artificial being just outside, but facing left, facing the end of the hall. The boy there. The boy looks with interest at the giant, then collapses to the floor like a shed snakeskin. The giant convulses for a moment, then rights itself, turns away and leaves. Aha! Decoupled from Graham's soul. Graham looks at you, still wild-eyed, but somehow more present. He nods at you, then walks back to the end of his cell. Right, interesting. Oh. And another level up. We'll be right back, guys. Okay, so...
These poor people. This isn't the treatment that they were promised upstairs by the cushioned seats and lush carpets.
True.
Is that the cure for soul sickness? To be thrown into a cell and subjected to the whims of your captor?
These animances are as mad as their patients. But if all were treated were like this, the sanitarium would never survive. What did these patients do to warrant such conditions? There are just as many who come here and are cured of their ills, people who would otherwise be cast aside. I hope so. You're probably right. It's just hard to see. Let's be on our way. This place gnaws at the soul. Yes, it does. I'm really sorry, mate, but we need to stay a little bit longer. A scrim. A willowy adolescent boy stands in the center of his cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead, the occasional blink his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all behind his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barriers between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you would wish it. Yes. You close your eyes and edge forward toward the boy's soul. As you near, a sudden malice comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering and straining for breath, as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, the parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is predatory and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retract, and already you feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You are standing in a cell now, the same cell in the sanitarium. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same stops every time, the misbegotten child of despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it were a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapsing to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You are rushing toward the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself quickly, and you feel the strength hemorrhaging from your soul as you dart towards the makeshift abomination. You pass into the golem's shell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it. And contained in this new vessel, you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down corridors unheeded by the other constructs, and scrutinized only by the very untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hands upon a large machine, a nest of globes and tubes and coils in the center of the room, and go to work, bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve into a blur. When they settle, into place again. You are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tiered seats of an amphitheater. You are acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but this is no play. A balding man with rodent-like features is strapping you to a machine, the one you had tampered with. You see your arms for the first time, short and flashy, unmistakably those of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hard-heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and vacuous. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks, and the crowd applauds with an enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. "Bear witness," he says, and he pulls a lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and a bead of sweat rolls down the edge of the man's brow. But the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as a crystal globe fills with a radiant mist that casts the entire theater aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow crawls through a tube along the length of copper wiring that runs to a set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, for you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and setting and playing puppeteer for Hollowborn. But you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment, the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you with a scientist's concern. He looks back up at the crowd. "Behold," he says, but there is obvious hesitation in his voice. Slowly, you take a plodding step forward, then another and another. You look up at the man, giving him the eye contact of which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. "How do you feel?" he asks a volunteer He asks at a volume meant for the crowd, and this is the moment. At the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes toward you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe, and it shatters, streaking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again and again, drawing panic screams from the crowd, and by the time the man reaches you, your body has already ceased proper function and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse and reach and in search of another unsuspecting host. Who could put their faith in animancy now? You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending the boundaries of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive, with a tall device encasing an Adra monolith at its center. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and once catatonic boy in the cell is looking directly at you, appraising, calculating. There is no mistaking now that it is the soul of the man who caused your awakening that gazes out from the borrowed husk. A watcher. Okay, this is interesting. This is really interesting. Okay, so that old guy is in this guy's body. Okay. I believe we share a common past. I'm just looking for some answers. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise, and his eyes soften for an instant, and it seems, for that moment, that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, then seems to think better of what he was about to say. His jaw tightens. I know your look. You hunger for answers that elude you. It gnaws at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backward with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the dispassion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. Great. Why is he attacking us? We were friends. Let's try this. No, he's stuck in the middle. Can't get away. Let's try and help him. Too late. I guess that was too late. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's do that. You start attacking that, and you are attacking that too. Okay.
Hey.
Indeed.
Oh. That was kind of nasty. Just put it. Okay, there are 2 level ups. Okay. Oh, really? Okay, guys, this is not going to be great. Alright, there we go. So now, you smack this guy. You do your usual roar. And you do your usual thingy.
Yes.
Okay, he's dead. Good. Let's focus on this guy.
Point the wagon.
Awesome.
Well,
Now we have to fight our way out.
I'll take care of it.
Oh, stop. No, you go. There you go. All right, let's see.
What?
I?
Okay, he's dead. Good. Now you can try to knock that guy over.
Hey.
There we go. Now he's engaged.
Ready, Watcher.
Oh, Preston. What? You need to...
What is it?
You're doing okay.
As you wish.
I wonder what happened to the guy here. I think we did whatever we could down there. I was kind of hoping that Mordred would be dead or not be there so I could drop his chest, but whatever. What the blazes happened down there? You were given permission to ask questions. It's complicated. A patient of yours, a scrim, was working for the Leaden Key, only without knowing it. You finish your explanation and Ethelmer breaks his silence. I have read accounts of people in history who could do what you describe. The accounts are few and brief and never reliable. Some go as far as to suggest that they are all the same person. If truly such a person was here among us plotting our ruin, would that I had a body again and could be of some real use in our time of need. I fear what the future may hold for this place. I am grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before the loss of innocent life. We very nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Ezo? What part did his experiments play in this catastrophe? Ezo was only trying to help the patients. The Leaden Key took advantage of it. I should have known better than to isolate him. Of course he would resort to deception. The wisest thing would be to allow his experiments, with close oversight of course. A mind like his must be allowed to chase, must be allowed a chance to create. There's a little guy here which we will probably need to kill, right? What have you done? You've been experimenting on patients against their wills, mangling their souls. I have witnessed it with my own eyes. Ezo's face drains of what little color it had. How could you possibly? Look, it had to be done. Ethelmer and the others, they took everything from me. Everything when I was this close. I had to know where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I had succeeded. I had something that could make all these hollow infants into something like a real person. And with a few more patrons and a few years' research, who knows? No one has come that close with legacy. It's why I have to continue. Why I have to risk everything here working in secret. It's why you have to lie to Ethelmer for me. Tell him you've cleared me of all suspicion. We'll see.
I trust that you'll do what's right for Deerwood. Don't hold everyone accountable for my mistakes.
All right. So I guess this is it for this episode. We found out quite a lot of interesting bits and pieces of information right there down below. So hit that like button, give us a like, especially if you liked the episode. If you haven't done so already, then hit that subscribe button so you get a notification so you know when a new episode is out. It will show up in your subscription feed and it will help me out a lot. And also, any comments, observations, let us know down below in the comments. And until next time, bye bye.